Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christopher Senegal. The two previous presentations were perfect setups for what I'm about to talk about. So my focus is mainly more on the real estate development side of things and making sure that we have sustainable communities going forward. As we do all these great development projects, we need to make sure we are good stewards of the communities that we're working in. I started off as an engineer, working for the railroad, doing development projects for them. Started flipping houses like they do on HGTV. Realized I was being a detriment to some communities going through gentrification. So I hit reset and I said, how can I do projects that have social impact? And I'm going to talk about 3 different projects in the same neighborhood that they were just talking about. So you can get started. So this is one of my first projects. So going to communities that are blighted. This is Northeast Houston, just north of downtown. To the left is what I purchased. I had to get very creative with the financing, because no banks would do anything in those communities at that point in time. But I knew I wanted to do something sustainable. And one of the things we overlook in these communities a lot of times is bringing in higher incomes back to the community. So we needed young black working professionals, young minorities from the communities to represent the kids that are in the communities so that they can see, hey, it is possible to do things when you move out and you go to school, you get a good job, you can come back. That's what this project represented. It was a very creative deal. We did seller financing. This is a representation of the team that we used for this project. You got architects, engineers, you got the contractor, you got investors in here too. And what we did was take something that was a blight to the community, turned it around, and now it's a thriving representation of what can be done in these neighborhoods. So we talk about new construction, bringing new people in. We also have to think about the next step. What do you do for the existing residents that are there? So I got a lot of those questions, and whenever the slide changes, you're going to see the next project. The next project was how do we maintain the way of life for residents that have been there long term? So this entire picture, all these houses, entire block of property that I purchased, some of these residents have been living there 20, 30 years literally. And they were right in the path of all the redevelopment, and other investors and developers were coming in. So instead of trying to go to the bank to raise the money, I took advantage of something that happened in the Jobs Act, where now you don't have to be an accredited investor to participate in the project. So 1,500 people investing as little as $250, we acquired this entire portfolio of real estate. We came in and we did things for the residents, like put screens on their windows, put insulation in their attics to make their electricity bills go down. And by taking the vacant commercial buildings and turning them into event spaces, we didn't even have to really raise their rents. This picture shows, that circle shows how close that property is to Midway's $2.4 billion project. So you see the pathway that it's in. So we were able to sustain the way of life for that community. At the same time, we're going to experience a tremendous amount of value appreciation just because of the location. So you get a return on an investment 2 ways. It's either asset value appreciation or it's cash flow increase, revenue increase. So we know that we're going to get a lot of our return just off of the ROI from the location of the property. And here's the third project. The third project is this entire L-shaped parcel right here, which used to be a mega church, very underutilized space. Now we're bringing in a 340-unit apartment complex in partnership with the Housing Authority. Half of the building is going to be affordable. Instead of just going with regular affordability, though, we're going to target entrepreneurs that want to bring jobs back into the community, because their income tax returns show they make $40,000 a year too, and they qualify. If they're anchored in the community, then it's more likely that they will create jobs in the community and stay in the community. We'll have a lot of LEED certifications on this property. We're going to tie in aquaponics for the property for community gardens on site, and the north acre of the property, we're actually bringing in a charter school as well that focuses on sustainability. So that's my 3 minutes, and I'm done.